43. Can you Adam and Eve it? Hey, day 43 of this. It's incredible. And what I want to talk about today is overcoming the unholy trinity, as I call it, of time, money, and fear. And you're probably thinking to yourself, yeah, a few of those sometimes hold me back. So sometimes it's we don't have the money, we don't have the time, and I'm scared as to what might happen. So and that fear can manifest itself in all sorts of things. And it's funny, I've just come off a clubhouse room where we were talking about shiny objects. And does that stop you getting on with what you should be getting on with? Well, the example I gave was the fact that I found my 15-year-old son, the middle son, and he was busy tidying his room the other day, and he was emptying his waste paper bin. And I said to him, I said, okay, this is a little bit unusual. This behavior is a bit unusual, Oliver. I said, what's the story? Should you be doing something else? And he looked at me and he went, how did you know that? And I said, because, one of the things that we all do is sabotage what we should be doing with other things, and we use them as distractions. And the very fact that you're tidying your room and you haven't done it in so long, probably years, makes me think that you are avoiding something. You are trying to distract yourself. And that's sometimes what happens. Now, in terms of distractions and time and money and fears and all these sort of things, the reason I say that is sometimes people sort of go, oh, Nigel, yeah, I hear what you're saying about Groove. But I don't have the money for it. Guys, it's free. The account up here, up there, which one? That one. I don't know which finger I'm meant to be moving. That one. There, that one, bit.ly/Nigel Groove. Get on there, folks. Get yourself the free account. Then you can say, okay, look, I'm scared. I don't want to post these things. I don't want to post affiliate links. I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to send emails. Just get out there and do it. People can unsubscribe. People can stop following you. It's not the end of the world. If they do that, they were never probably going to be your customer. If you're trying to start a business, trying to get going, you've got to overcome some fears. And a lot of people fear that they're going to be seen as annoying. They're going to upset people. They're going to send emails. They're going to send affiliate links. They're going to tell people to get some software. No, what you are doing, and you say, oh, it sounds like you're pushy. No, don't confuse being pushy with someone who is enthusiastic about sharing the benefits of something. So when I talk about Groove, I kind of get a bit faster and I get a bit louder and I get, keep going. Because I can see just so many benefits. And funnily enough, just on a clubhouse room, I was talking to someone and they were saying they'd just taken the Lifetime, and they're a digital agency, very experienced. And he says, no, I've got the Lifetime because I look at that suite of products. I look at it and he goes, okay, I don't have the time at the moment, but I did have a bit of money and I'm getting maybe 3 months, 6 months before I look at this, but I've got that in my back pocket and I can pull it out whenever I want. And he was sort of saying, look, I don't have the time at the moment, but I'm still going to take action. I'm still going to get it and secure it and lock it in, because if that price goes away, you will kick yourself forever and a day that you missed it. You really will. And when you look at it, I was on the webinar last night and I was talking to people, and in the chat they were coming back to me saying that in the UK someone had been offered PayPal interest free for 4 months, and so you could make the payment over 4 months. So they upgraded because suddenly it was manageable. So when people say I don't have the money for it, they did have the money for it, just not all in one lump sum. And by using the PayPal credit, they got in there sooner. Groove does offer a payment over 5 months, but it's $497 a month. In other words, what would that be? 2485 or something like that, 2495 over 5 months. So you can see if you can get a PayPal credit interest free over 4 months, gosh, it makes it about $1,000 cheaper. So there was ways of doing it. But then also the commission and the ability to get it done. And people are sort of going, well, yeah, but I'm scared. People will think I'm pushy and selling. If you're going to go into business, you're going to have to sell something. If you don't sell something, then you're going to go out, well, you don't have a business. And you're going to go, if you're worried about money now, you're going to be very worried about money in the future, because if you never sell anything, you've got no income. So that's not a good strategy, is it? So you've got to be able to overcome these things. And one of the things that I say to people is, hey, look, if you're looking at time, money, and fear of doing these things as the reasons that are holding you back, I'm going to tell you they are the very reasons why you should do it right now. Time. I don't have the time to do it. No, that's fine. What do you have the time to do? Do you have the time to do Netflix, watch the news, go onto Clubhouse? How are you spending your time at the moment? If you want, just take 2 weeks and write down roughly what you do each and every day. And I bet you pick up your phone. I bet you look at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is, YouTube, and you consume stuff. You can say to yourself, well, I can choose to actually spend that time differently. I could actually choose to help create my digital product. I could choose to set up my e-commerce store where I can sell my products. I could choose to invest that in a bit of learning time. So there are ways that you can tweak your time. And then you can say, well, at the moment I'm using, lots of different softwares, and it takes me forever to integrate and all these sort of things. And it keeps going wrong, and I've got Zapier, and my Zaps keep failing and stuff. And I'm trying to learn this, I'm trying to do that, and I'm trying to do WordPress, and it's not working, and it keeps going wrong, and all the rest of it. Look at where your time is at the moment. And if you find yourself wasting time on certain things, then there's 3 things you can do. You can automate it, you can delegate it, and you can delete it. Go through everything that you're doing at the moment and just say to yourself, okay, right, could I automate this? If you can't, you say, could I give it to someone else who's better at doing it and get it done by them? Yes, you probably can. And you can find people all over, People Brower, Fiverr, all those sort of platforms. Find someone who loves doing it, who can do it better than you can, and get them involved. Get them involved. And if you go, well, I can't afford the money, for that. Okay, well, then you're going to have to find the time to do it. And if you say, well, I haven't got the time either, okay, well, you're going to have to find the money to do it. If you say, well, I can't do either of them, you just say, right, okay, you're beginning to make so many excuses, it's never going to happen. At some point in your life, you're going to look back and you're going to go, do you know what? I had 168 hours every week, and it's been 10 years of that. So it's about 8,000 hours. It's 80,000 hours. And I couldn't find 5, 10, 20 out of those 80,000 to do it, to pursue my dreams, to try this other income stream, to see if I could build something up, to give it a go. When you look at it like that, it's ridiculous to say you don't have time. How is it that all these people out there who you're looking at and comparing yourself to, how is it that they've got the time? They have the same 24 hours in a day, the same 168 hours in a week. What is it that they do? They automate, they delegate, or they delete. So if it's not worth their time, they delete it. If you can't automate or delegate, they're just going to delete it and say, not interested, and choose to do something else. And this is where you have to start saying to yourself, I need a better approach to this. So in terms of time, it's like the person that said, when people say they don't have time to keep fit, I always look at them and say, but I bet you're going to find time to be ill. And it's so true, isn't it? If you don't want to spend the time, because you say you don't have it, to get fit, stay fit, you will find the time to be ill. And it's kind of, you look at that and you go, hey, yeah, you're right. You're right. Now, getting fit, investing time in getting fit, you sort of think, well, where's the result? Where's the benefit? Okay, well, yeah, you might feel better, but it's hard to compare yourself feeling fit to feeling unfit. But you got to say to yourself as well, I haven't experienced being unwell and how long it took me. to really get the benefits. So sometimes you just got to invest in something upfront, saying, I'm doing this a bit like insurance. I'm insuring myself against, a risk, against an outcome. And you're going to have to say to yourself, right, I'm going to take Groove now. I'm going to take Groove. I'm going to follow Nigel's training. I'm going to get in there. I'm going to do it and give it a go. Give it the time it needs to do it. You've got as many hours in the day as anyone else. You've got the ability to choose how you spend it. What you've got to get in your mind is you've got to flick the switch and say, I did value watching Netflix box set quite highly. I valued it higher than my business and my life and my dreams and my passions. Now you've got to say, actually, if I fast forwarded 5 years, what's that Netflix box set going to give me? Not a lot. What would swapping that and having my, my life, my extra income, my business grow, what would that give me? It could give you an awful lot more than the Netflix. And so it's about time that we kind of redress the balance and go, bang, I'm going to spend my time on that. When it comes to money, hey, look, I've already said, so there's this training. So if you go to thegrooveuniversity.com, so up here, that one, you should be able to find access to some free training in there. So that's free. You should find on the other one here, you can get your free account and you can start looking to generate some commission income from Groove straight away. So if you say you haven't got the money, well, this is free to get you going. So I think that's kind of crazy. And if you say to yourself, well, I want, if you have a problem with selling, and you don't want to push and sell things, or you don't want to invest in other people's products or services, then if you're not willing to invest in products or services of other people that can help you, why do you think anyone would invest in products or services from you? It's one of these things that I think sometimes you've got to get your head around. Okay, I need to invest in things. So I've got to be happy buying things from people because I want people to be happy in buying things from me. So you've got to get into this psychology of it's good to sell. Everyone is selling all day, every day. So whether it's selling the idea that your kids need to get up for school and that school's a good idea, whatever it is, you're always making persuasive arguments and persuasive conversations to people in order to get your points across, get people to take certain steps, actions, and all the rest of it. You've got to get happy with that. You've got to get happy with that because in order for you to receive, you've got to be able to sell it. So you've got to be able to give a solution. So remember when we've spoken about people and people that may have a problem, okay? And you're saying, well, actually, hey, I tell you what, I think I've got the solution to that problem. You've got to get comfortable with telling people, okay, for anyone that has this problem, I've got the solution. And this is why you'll want it, because it will transform you from being in a bad place into a good place. And in exchange for you going from bad place to good place, I'd expect some money for that. There's the transaction, there's the value exchange. You give people the solution, they give you the money. And you think, oh, okay. And then you can take that money and you can invest it in your own business. You could maybe then delegate and outsource. And as you start to do that, you begin to grow your business. You are never, ever going to grow something big on your own. Okay? Have a look at all the world's billionaires, the biggest businesses out there. How many are one-man bands? Answer, none. You've got to get involved. Look at Olympic champions, sporting champions, the finest musicians, the greatest actors. Who does it on their own? Nobody. They all have coaches, mentors, nutritionists, voice coaches, whatever it is. There's always people around them. So you've got to get into the feeling that, yeah, I can't do this on my own. I can maybe kickstart things and and test a little bit, but at some point I'm going to have to push the boat out. I'm going to have to see if this boat sinks or floats. Okay, so you've got to get out there and do it. And if you're struggling with the fear and you're thinking, I'm not too sure about this, I don't know, what am I doing? I can tell you right now that your friends and family will think you've taken leave of your senses. Friends and family love you dearly, but they often pass on to you their opinions of would they do it themselves. And they may not necessarily have that same drive or ambition that you do. And in order to sort of protect themselves, they try and hold you back as well. And they'll say, oh, it's risky. I mean, if you look at property, so property in the UK has always gone up in value. And yet you tell someone that you're going to invest in property, and the first thing they do is, ooh, that sounds risky. And they put fear into you. But if you actually stand back and analyze it and go, well, hang on. If I went back 100 years, there isn't a single property in this country that would have cost me more 100 years ago than it does now. And there isn't a single property in this country, I don't think, that even with inflation would have cost you more 100 years ago than it does now. So if you say, well, look, okay, I'm not in it for 100 years, but I am in it for quite a long time, then you will find that it goes up. But what does everyone initially say? That's risky. Oh, that's risky. What are you thinking? Be careful. Be careful. And before you know it, you ask your friends and family, and they put fear into you. And that's not who you need to be asking. You need to be asking other people who are doing what you want to do. Why? Because they will explain the risks and they will say, well, actually, if you use my experience, you can overcome those risks, mitigate those risks, and make it more straightforward. You can learn from my experience, and you can shortcut 20 years of experience into maybe 2 weeks of getting the basics, and then an ongoing relationship with where you help somebody is helping you sort of implement that knowledge that you've learned into specific day-to-day tactics and a strategy that will give you the same results that they've had. And you kind of think, hang on, who am I asking? So when people are scared, they tend to ask people who know nothing about it. So they tend to ask people, in the days when the pubs were open, they go and ask friends in the pub. And if you think about it, would you, and this is the weird thing. Here's the weird thing. Would you go and ask your friend in the pub about, I'm thinking of doing open heart surgery. Would you go and ask them for advice as to how to do open heart surgery? No, and unless they are a surgeon, they're not going to have the knowledge or the skills or whatever. And yet, that would be obvious. If they're not a solicitor, would you go and ask them for a legal opinion? No. If they're not a qualified accountant, would you go and ask them for, some accountancy services? No. And yet we would ask them for advice about investing in property, or we'd ask them for advice about setting up an e-commerce store or setting up a website. And if they're not involved in it at all, what's the point in having that conversation other than to just say, oh, by the way, I'm doing this, and then blank out their reaction? Because when people don't understand what it is that you're talking about, they tend to struggle to be able to give you anything meaningful in terms of advice or support. And very often, if people can't say something positive, they find it very hard. In terms of when you ask something, 90% I'd say of people immediately have a negative reaction. So if you said, "Oh, I'm going to set up a website, I'm going to set up an e-commerce store, and I'm going to do this. I can't wait to get going." Most people will go, "That sounds like a lot of hard work. That sounds like it'll cost you a lot. Have you ever sold anything? I don't think it's going to work, is it? No, I don't think people are going to buy that." Based on what? What have they ever done? to give that a go? What have they ever done on websites, e-commerce, you selling your own digital course about your knowledge, your skills? And yet we take that advice and we take it to heart, and it puts the fear of God in us. And they go, oh my goodness, I think they're right. I'm going to invest some money. I'm going to lose it all because I'm going to be terrible. You're quite right. What right have I got to have a go at this? I don't know anything. And before you know it, you go into a spiral, and it goes down and down and down. However, if you have conversations with people who sort of go, oh, right, okay, I like the sound of that. That sounds like a good idea. Okay. And you go through a checklist. Who are you going to sell it to? What's their problem? What's their pain? How are you going to solve their problem? How are you going to deliver it? What's the sort of tech behind it? So you're going to do a website to an opt-in, and then you're going to email them, and then you're going to deliver it via videos in a membership, or what? All of a sudden, people are saying, taking an idea that you've got, and they're helping you crystallize it and form it into a business. And that's what you're after. That's what you're after. If you ask the right person and they ask questions of you and you can give the answers, I tell you what, it takes all the fear away. There'll still be a little bit, but it just reduces it. Ask someone who knows nothing about it and they will scare the pants off you. Okay, and they're going to tell you it's going to be expensive. They're going to tell you it's going to take all your time. They're going to tell you that it's going to fail. And these are often our nearest and dearest, because that's the fears they have. But if you go and ask a different set of people who have been involved in it, who've done it, who can help you, who can coach you, who can mentor you, then that is going to reduce the risk right down. It's going to reduce the fear right down. It's going to give you the opportunity to say, yes, do you know what? Yes, I'm going to go for this, because time is going to pass anyway. And in 5 years' time, whether you succeed, fail, succeed, fail, succeed, fail, whatever it is, that time is going to pass. But I tell you right now, in 5 years' time, if you are still there saying, I'm wondering if it's the right time to start doing something, you will never start it. And one of the, if you look at any survey of older people, they always say that, they wish they'd tried more things. They wish they'd given things a go. And you don't want to be one of those people that looks back and goes, do you know what? I wish I'd given it a go. I think I had a pretty good idea. I think it might have worked. It may well have done, but you will never know if you don't give it a go. Okay. So when I talk here about the unholy trinity of time, money, and fear, time is going to pass anyway. How are you going to spend your time? Are you going to, is someone else going to spend it for you? Is Netflix going to dominate it? Is Facebook going to dominate it? YouTube, TikTok, whatever, listening to the wrong people? Is that how you're going to spend your time? Or are you going to spend your time on what you'd like to do? When it comes to money, you got to think to yourself, okay, right, I think there's some techniques here that I can start low. And as I start building up confidence and building sales, I can reinvest that and turbocharge things. And that way, again, you are reducing that entry cost. You are reducing the risk. And it should then just absolutely knock it on the head. And it should give you the confidence to go ahead and do it. And if you're scared about things, then you need someone to hold your hand through the process. And they are easy to find. Hey, there are people willing to help you right here, right now. All you need to do is ask. And I think there's a reason why that phrase has been around for thousands of years. Ask and ye shall receive, knock and the door shall be opened unto you, seek and ye shall find. Those sort of things. It's all down to you. So it's down to you, folks. The call to action is, what are you going to do? How are you going to spend your time? How are you going to spend your money? And how are you going to find someone who can reduce that fear factor? That's it. That's day 43. Woo! Hey? Whoa! That was intense, wasn't it? Hey? But it's a goodie. It's a goodie because it's something there. Don't think about it too deeply. Just mull it over in your mind and just think to yourself, yeah, what's holding me back? And if you want, just get a piece of paper and just put a big T, and down one side saying the things that you want to achieve, and then down the other side say the things that you think are holding you back. And it could be time, money, fear. It could be a whole manner of other things. And then say, right, what do I do to overcome each and every one of those? Yeah, because these are my dreams. These are my ambitions. This is what I want to try. These are the things that I think are holding me back. And let's see if we can knock those things out of the way so that the obstacles are removed and you can take action straight away. Don't forget, come up here and do these. Where are they? There. Make sure you log on, get those. This is day 43. My name's Nigel T. Best. And that's it until tomorrow for day 44. Is it? Yeah, day 44. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, crikey. Day 44. Wowzers. No. Yeah, tomorrow, I'm losing it. Anyway, there we go. I'm off. I'm out of here. You go take some action. Write that list down. What's holding you back? And then let's find some ways to get through. Log on, get your free account, and look at those solutions. Oh, my word. They could be awesome. Are you ready to take the plunge? Absolutely, because I'm here with the water wings, the rubber tire sort of thing to hold you up, keep you floating, so you can get out there and do it. All right, on that basis, I'm off. I'm out of here. How do you turn this thing off?